Hello, and welcome back. So yeah, I did end up doing the video, and I've thought on it a couple days. I don't know, uploading my 13th of the 20 or whatever right now. I'm kind of unsure of what to say. Uh, where to even begin with this? I mean, let's just look at the playthrough as a complete whole. A victory, yes. Uh, a good playthrough? I don't think so. I mean, the point is to highlight where I feel the nation can succeed and why, and what I kind of feel are the best options you have. And you kind of end up in basically, not kind of, you end up in the worst situation you possibly can, which just kind of spirals the rest of the game out of control. I mean, when I actually got done with this before I started to upload anything, I seriously just considered trashing the whole thing and then just starting again without any water nations, so it'll play out kind of like it actually should, or as you would want it to if you're playing the nation, in a smart way. I didn't, of course. So I mean, whatever that says about my overall thoughts on it, I guess. A little bit schizophrenic, I would say, but I mean, yeah, it's a victory. I just don't consider it to be really a good playthrough at all. Now, what do I think of Rillier itself? I think it's a crap nation. I really do. I'm gonna go out here and just confirm the thing that, everybody's pretty much said forever is it is one of, if not the worst nation in the game. Hands down. It This even extends through the water patch. The water patch happened and touched up the water nations in general. And then literally the next patch was EA Rillier, and well, some other minor changes, but it was basically EA Rillier got done by itself. And somehow, after the changes, what you find is Rillier has more problems than it did before. It honestly solved none of the problems that the nation has. Just for reference here, and I think this is kind of a key point and something that a lot of people could see, is the problem was that water nations had poor projection onto land, especially your mages and stuff. The forging the amulets of the fish, very costly. Many nations didn't have the path. Getting air gems, underwater, very hard. So, really, actually, really needs its specialty mages out of the water. And what we end up with instead is Mine Vessel, which not only, okay, the other nations went from Construction 4 to Construction 2, and they went from 5 air and 5 water gems to just 5 water gems. Now, when we kind of mirror that and start looking at Rillier here, what we see is ours went from Construction 4 to Thaumaturgy 3, which is good. The Thaumaturgy is great for this nation overall. I have no problem with that, and we've actually saved a little research. But our cost has went up from 5 air gems and 5 water gems to 15 astral pearls. You know, those super needed things with this nation. I didn't even get into a lot of the things that you should generally be doing as the game starts moving on. The way you really start using the alteration tree, much farther down the road, of course, is you come down here and you're going to pick up your Mind Hunts. You're going to use Mind Hunt to basically just really not allow them to ever leverage all of their massive troops in the game. You got your teleports to really do some surprise attacks in different areas, move troops around, move commanders around. Take that mobility up a step with all those astral pearls. These are both highly, highly good spells, Mind Hunt and Teleport. Gateway's fantastic as well. As I said, when I first started the nation, I thought, man, I'm never going to be able to get these Lobo Guard out onto the field. Gateway, that's a complete game solver right here. Yeah, it's a little expensive in my opinion, but being able to again utilize those astral pearls to shift things around so that even though you don't have as large of a force perhaps as the other opponent, you just outmaneuver them with spells, and be it by destroying their commanders with something like Mind Hunt, or you use your teleport and gateways to shift troops literally across the map. into better positions, allowing you to leverage that smaller number of troops. The point is, those Astral Pearls are so good, but not only has your cost gone up, but they've gone from air and water gems into Astral Pearls, which is thematic, but man, is that painful. Just utterly painful. You didn't gain any other ways to really lead your Lobo Guard onto the land. Basically, we're going to look at, the Crazy Mage here. These don't come with the magic being leadership that you need in order to avoid those amulets of the fish either. I don't understand it. Even if they had maybe thrown in an item to increase your magic being leadership, I know you've got Crown of Command already, but something that would work, maybe even just usable by the Androdi right here, the Crazy Mages, would be a fantastic option. Or, and I'm going to throw this completely out here, I don't know, give them an item that doesn't suck to allow you to use your slaves in a real situation and make those the core of your armies. As fantastic as Lobo Guard are, and I think everybody can easily look at this Let's Play and say, without those unroutable Lobo Guard, I never hold my 4 provinces, these 4 provinces up here, without those 50 morale units, and that is a wipe. I mean, I am done. But at the same point, maybe the Lobo Guard just come online later. They're harder to use or they're harder to mass. Give us some way to project either the slaves, make them take care of their very poor morale problem. I mean, look at this. I've got a whip of command that I've had for, I don't know, 7 years of the game probably. I picked it up at some point versus Pelgia there. I mean, this is a great item right here. Until you start looking, -2 inspirational for Taskmaster 3 +1 morale for the 5 gems. I'm sorry, that's just not worth it. There's no good option, and I'm sorry to bring this up, but somebody actually did mention Whip of Command and Horn of Valors, which I personally, again, don't really agree with. I think that they really needed to add, actually, a better option to bring the Lobo Guard, bring your Slave Guardians in play, and I just think Mind Vessel is completely overpriced. And when I say completely, it should be a 5 to 8 gem spell in my opinion. I understand it's a fantastic spell. It's not even though like the other water nations where you'll buy a mage up here and then you'll buy a mage in the water. You're not only having to buy the mage up here and in the water, but then you're still only able to utilize half of the combo. It's frustrating. It's frustrating. On that kind of note, because I have started uploading these and I've had a few comments. I do want to say that I think that just how do I want to put this? Everybody's going to value things differently in the game. Am I saying that building some Horns of Valor and building some Whips of Command is a bad idea? I mean, in my opinion, yes. I'm not even going to come out here and pretend that +1 inspirational and +3 Taskmaster at the cost of basically you're going to gain 2 morale or 4 morale, but you're going to go ahead and lose 2 of it due to the negative inspirational off of your other item. And that's just not a solid deal to me, especially with how valuable your nature gems are. The whole fighting another water nation, just I don't know. It takes me back to that whole thing. Where's my better late game magic? Where do I really start utilizing my earth boots along with either destructions or earth Maws of the Earth? Or where do I start using my bone melters at any point? I don't. And that's what I feel is the real travesty of this Let's Play, is the various combos that come in throughout the alteration tree here that allow you to begin that rating, which brings in that gold, which allows you to further your research, which allows you to basically bring all of your mage corps into play. That's not going to happen here, and it's sad, but it really is just the way it is. That's probably my fault for knowing I shouldn't fight a water nation and then just saying, well, whatever. I'm just gonna, if one pops up, I'll fight him anyways. It just doesn't make a good Let's Play because there's a lot of power right through here. Yeah, you're gonna have to spend 15 gems to get your bone melters up, but that's fine. Honestly, for an AoE 1, 999 damage, that's fantastic. That is a fantastic spell. But where did I ever have the Lobo Guard to basically build out my armies? To have that point where I'm actually making landfall at the beginning of the late game and pushing out, extending my gems, extending my gold. And that kind of does come into the overall nation itself. I mean, there's so many good options for water mages. Honestly, your earth mages do pretty decent, as do your nature and water. So this is just such a fantastic tree for you, and I feel like I didn't really get to highlight it. Pulling out the Dooms, I mean, this is great. Cursing their units so that even those high quality have a better chance of afflictions, and wearing them down with those cheaper units. I don't know. Lost opportunity, I guess. But yeah, Trash Nation overall. Complete trash. I really feel like the entire time, and I understand again that the game is built from a lore perspective, and then they just kind of balance it out from there. But in a balance patch like they had literally by themselves because the nation played so very different from the rest of the nations, I really feel like something like Lots of Master Enslave was kind of the thing they were going for with this nation. That doesn't exactly... I'm not trying to say that this is bad. You haven't seen me use it, but managing some teleports, 2 mages to teleport for some Master Enslaves, pretty damn decent. And the thing is, these guys have more than enough hit points to stand up front and take some arrow fire. Just, I don't know. It seems like they really tried to increase the power of the late game without giving any thought to the early or the mid game, because if you don't do well enough in the early or mid game, you're a non-factor when you hit the late game. Well, not a non-factor, it's just your... I don't know. It's really hard for me to put it into words how bad I think this nation is. This is though your coup de grace of the nation overall, is the fact that you can just, very expensive of course, what is this, between 2 casters, because let's be honest, most of this is not what you're going to want to use. You're either going to want to use the 25 gem variants with slaves, you're going to want to use the 35 gem variant with more slaves. Basically this guy right here, because I am Astral 5, was Astral 5. Or you're going to want to use the ridiculously expensive Mine Lord and one of these guys. And that's going to come at 55 Astral Pearls, which is very expensive. I am counting the Mine Vessel into the cost as well, because although it's not an item, you do need to spend those 15 Pearls to manage to get the Astral 4 base. So, yeah, I mean, they've got a late game. It's just like, well, how in the hell am I supposed to get there? I don't know. It certainly works out a lot better, I think, with that alteration side of things. I did mess around with the evocation a lot, too. Wasn't really all that impressed. But, other thoughts. Okay, so I'm going to go out on a limb here, and I usually hate to do conjecture, but I'm going to go ahead and throw some conjecture out right here. I'm going to come right out and say that I think R'lyeh would be a better multiplayer nation than single player. Now, I don't want anybody to confuse this. I'm not saying that, wow, this nation is going to be some stellar thing in multiplayer. No. I think that the tools you have to work with are overall going to work better in a multiplayer setting. Basically, I don't know, start getting amulets of the... Oh, I got like 4 astral guys. I could have had some more guys here. Oh well, quit getting sidetracked. Put amulets of the fish on, I don't know, a dozen of these guys. get your teleport ready. I don't know, throw a bottle of living water on each one of them. That's pretty good. And you're not really going to see the PD. Have good scouting over somebody. Maybe even coordinate with somebody else diplomatically. And get a lot of your Mine Lords to mine hunt, basically locking their troops in place, while you do something like an airdrop a Cloud Trapeze Nation would do. Much, much earlier in the game they would be able to do it. But at a different point, I think you could easily snatch up, approximately half of somebody's lands. On top of that, maybe pull out a few Lobo Guard armies to really bring the coast under heel, and then just start moving all your mages back towards the safety of your coast and protect them with mine hunts. In the same vein, though, Hinnom not really going to be affected. Any Astral Nation probably not going to be super affected by the overall strategy I'm about to outline. But again, diplomacy. I make landfall here. I don't know. I talk to and I just let him know, hey, you guys could kick me into the water pretty easy. But I'm going to go ahead and let you know you're sitting right on the coast here. And if you kick me into the water, you've basically ended my game. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come straight down here for Mine Hunt. And I'm going to Mine Hunt all of your mages. I'm going to try to find some common ground through diplomacy with your opponents. Allow them to attack you and steal everything you have, because I'm just going to mine hunt the piss out of you, locking down entire armies all over the place. Beyond that, though, I'm just going to raid you with Lobo Guard throughout the game. I'm probably going to have a lot of Earth Gems at some point. I'll get my Empower down. I'll start striking your capital with Blights in order to wipe out a decent amount of your population. It's only 5% per use, but as the game goes on, I'm basically going to be such a thorn in your side that you're really going to have to ask yourself, is it worth taking these 4 provinces from me right now? Because if you do, and you cause me to lose the game right here, I'm going to make it my goal to make you lose the game. But at the same time, however, should you let me, keep these 4 provinces, I'll go bother some other nation. The landfall that I could make could easily be another nation. Again, I would not be playing against another water nation. In fact, I wouldn't be playing on a map this small with this nation. But even if I did consider it for multiplayer, everything comes on a line so late that you really probably need like a 10 or 12 player map to even begin to have a chance at winning, which would still be astronomically small, but I do think it's there overall. Yeah, and I think through diplomacy and raiding, the gains you can pick up with this nation in multiplayer far outweigh the overall. I don't want to say benefits. Yeah, benefits is a good word. Benefits of basically being able to beat the AI every time if there's no other water nation to contest you. Because that's really what it comes down to with this nation. Is there a water nation to contest me? Oh, I win. It might be a long game. In fact, it'll probably usually be like an 8 or 9 year game. But I'm going to win it. I already know that. There's no other water nation. That's a great benefit because the water is a pretty big barrier to the AI. Let's not kid ourselves about that. But is it worth the barrier of not being able to use the diplomacy, not being able to raid correctly? I don't think so. I don't think so at all. And again, that's not to say that I suddenly feel that in multiplayer this is going to be some fantastic nation. And this is all conjecture on my part. What I feel though is that you're going to be able to raid and pick up some extra income and gems outside of your water. Yeah, you'll probably have to deal with a little bit of raiding yourself. If you get your temples up, you get your Popple Mothers out, light raiding really shouldn't be a problem from most scenarios. Not all, but most. And I guess my closing thoughts would be, I wish I had went with EA Pelagia, because that was the other nation I was thinking about playing. This nation's kind of frustrating. I think it's complete garbage. I definitely wish I would have went with Wish Factory Pelagia. Anyways, on that note, thanks for watching. I hope everybody's enjoyed. And until the next time.